Good morning and welcome to Morning Motivations. I'm Dan Stratton and we're doing this every Thursday right now. And we're doing our very, very best to bring you ideas, thoughts each and every week so that you can order your steps, so that you can think a little differently, perhaps encourage yourself, forgive yourself, and get on with your day. Today we're doing a little topic called Blessed to be a Blessing. And so think about that for a second. First of all, you start with the concept of, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. And so you do a little bit of an inventory in your life on what you're thankful for. I do this pretty much every day. I get up. I'm 63 years old now, so I get up and I take a little bit of an inventory of my aches and pains. I don't do it consciously, but I get up and my knee's a little sore, going down the steps. It's a little rickety, what have you. My hands from doing stuff all my life and beating them up pretty good. But the idea is you do these inventories pretty much almost unconsciously. You're always kind of taking stock of your aches and pains and the negativities in your life. So it's important that you choose on a regular basis to take stock of or do an inventory of the good things that are going on in your life, because the pain screams out at you. The phone might ring, you go downstairs and you look there, you go to a place in your home and you're going to see a bill, you're going to see something going on, something that's nagging you. So you got to make sure that you take time to realize how blessed you are, in the sense that you got to choose to think in that way. And now one of the best ways to do that is to not only take inventory and give thanks for what is working in your body. Oh, my eyes work, my ears work. I can still taste things. How wonderful is that? You give an inventory. My hands still work. It's great. And then you give thanks for, I have a house, I have a place to live, a roof over my head. I've got gas in my car. I've got food in my fridge. All the basic things. People always ask me, how you doing? People I've known all my life. And I always say I'm doing great. But most important to me is that my daughter still loves me. I have a grandson. My wife still adores me and loves me and wants to be with me. And so I really have not much to complain about. I have a great church. I have a great congregation. I have a lot of good things going on in my life. I have a lot of great relationships, friends from high school, friends from college, friends from the floor of the exchanges. It's just wonderful to go through and take stock, go through and take an inventory. And so as I think about the blessings, but then my blessings become more magnified or more important when I point them, or I'm not just taking stock to go, oh, I'm so blessed, I'm so very, very, fortunate, even though I am, but then I take it to the point where I want to be blessed to be a blessing. And that's when I start thinking about the people in my life, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brothers. I have 4 sisters, I have 2 brothers, and I think about them. And then I think about my wife, my daughter, my son-in-law, his family, my grandson. And then I start thinking about how I can be a blessing. I'm a part of a group that meets a couple times a month. And one of the things that we do is we plan out 5 purposed acts of kindness every month. So my thought process every day is, from my blessings, how can I be a blessing? I have a good education, but it's limited. I have working knowledge and experience, but even that's limited. And so sometimes I can think about how I don't really have that much to offer, or how I'm not really that smart, or I'm not really that wise. But, I guess I love the scripture that Peter said, silver and gold have I none, but such that I have, I give you. And so that's really the mentality of the blesser, the mentality of blessed to be a blessing. Do what your hands find to do. Give your best. Give what you have available. If that's only encouragement, then make a phone call today and be a blessing. I think about people in my life. Just recently, my daughter mentioned to me that her second car has an issue with power steering. So I'm going to figure out how I can get that power steering fixed for her. You know, she's been putting it off because her and her husband have been really, really busy. She's finishing up her residency at University Hospital here and at St. Barnabas here in New Jersey. And she's just working 70, 80 hours a week right now. And Steven's working very similar hours, and they have a grandson right now. So I'm going to borrow their car and get it fixed. So they think I'm just asking them for a favor, but I'm going to get that power steering fixed for them so that they don't have to worry about it. That's a way I can do a purposed act of kindness. My ear is listening in people's lives for what it is that they have need of. In my position as a pastor, a lot of times people just say, hey, I want to talk through a decision I have to make. Well, my schedule gets pretty busy, but between being a grandpa and my business life and the church, and of course my own home life with my wife, which is very, very important to me. And so I have to purpose to make time for that Zoom call. I have to purpose to get it on my schedule, but then I have to prepare to get it on my schedule. So some of the disciplines of blessed to be a blessing really go back to keeping your relationships alive, because the answer to every question in my mind is never just read a book. It's oftentimes find an expert, find somebody who has that knowledge, find somebody who has that favor, that connection, that relationship, that influence. And so if I don't reach out to that person on a regular basis without an ask, without a reason, then that relationship will go cold. That relationship will no longer be a resource. So being blessed to be a blessing and being purposeful about checking in with people. Like I'll just wake up in the morning and I'll start thinking about and praying about people that I can bless. But one of the things I've learned, the discipline of getting on the phone and reaching out to people when there's nothing wrong, reaching out to people just to say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What you up to? How's your family? Because you're going to hear things in that conversation that are going to prompt you to be a blessing. I have a really good friend. We went to college together, and he's an ophthalmologist. He does this all the time. His father was a big guy like me, so he'll just, and he's passed away, his father was in the FBI. His father was a good dude, and he just goes through things, and he'll come over and give me a coat from his dad. Or one time, being an ophthalmologist, he just showed up at dinner and gave me reading glasses that were really nice, really nice. They matched my complexion. They were exactly the right prescription. And he's done many, many other favorable acts. He does this all the time. And because he does it proactively, he continually keeps those relationships alive. He's always looking to see that young person who wants to go to college, that young athlete, basketball player, baseball player, football player. And because he's in contact with the coaches and at different universities, but not with an ask, just with, hey, what can I do for you? And he uses his practice as a doctor sometimes to do free services for people just as a favor. You know, he was watching me online one time when I was ministering from church. He said, Dan, there's a procedure I could do for you. I can see in your eyes and in your face, I can see that you could use this procedure. And I was like, wow, how cool is that? And then he did it for free. I mean, that's powerful. But that doesn't happen without me reaching out, seeing how he's doing. It's like those people who are blessed to be a blessing, they understand the principle that they want to bless those who bless those who are in the habit of being a blessor. Because when you bless somebody who blesses, when you bless somebody who helps others, you're magnifying your giving. Very, very cool. Very, very powerful. So this morning, begin to, first of all, take stock, give thanks, and then start thinking about the people in your life that you haven't spoken to in a while. Start thinking about people in your life that you really care about. Do yourself a favor and don't call people you don't like. Don't call people that are going to, argue with you, or that have a grudge against you, or you have a grudge against. You need to forgive those people. You need to let that stuff go. Those petty things, they build up and they start to diminish your ability to love. They diminish your ability to feel. They diminish your ability to enjoy life, right? And so call somebody, just say, hey, and they're going to say, well, why are you calling me? You're going to say, I just wanted to call you. You were on my mind. And you have no idea what a blessing that is for someone to think that you had them on your mind. They may not have time at that moment. Be polite about it. Be courteous. Be considerate. But then have a conversation with them and be listening for what you might be able to do for them, what you might be able to help them with. Now, they may not need anything. And that's okay, just the call, just the encouragement, just for them to know that you thought of them that day. And so you begin to develop this cycle of things. Today I have some ideas. I'm actually inviting a bunch of my high school friends to my home next week. We're going to play golf during the week, and we're going to catch up. And some of these guys, 6 guys are coming. Some of these guys I've known since I was 5 years old. And so it's really amazing the amount of time that has passed since then. And I was speaking to one of them on the phone, working these principles last night. I just calling to see how he was, looking forward to see him next week. Is there anything I can do to make his trip a little bit easier? Of course, I'm going to be picking him up at the airport and making sure the house is stocked with everything that we need, food and stuff. And so we're gonna really enjoy that time. But as I was reaching out to him, he reminded me of how much time has passed. And there was just a warmth that had come up, and there is just such a joy to those shared experiences and to that shared history. But also, these men are people that are, they're coming, and they value these relationships, and they care about keeping these relationships alive. We began to speak about other people that we cared about, that we hadn't heard from in a while. You have no idea what people are dealing with, what people are going through, and you have no idea how much you're going to bless them when you call them today. Never forget your parents. Never forget your siblings. A lot of times in families, we get we get our nose out of joint. We offend each other. Things get said that put distance between us. And I think it's important that you reach out to family. But then think about friends. Think about people that you know, and begin to work these principles and do it on a regular basis. Just purpose to call 1 or 2 people a week. I'm telling you, it's better than watching a YouTube video. It's better than watching TV. It's better than playing a video game. These things are far more productive. It's not as good maybe as reading your Bible, spending time with Jesus, but it's really important that you begin to think about this. I'm blessed. But mainly I'm blessed by the people in my life. I'm blessed by my wife. I'm blessed by my daughter. But the more I bless them, I'm blessed by my friend Dr. Joe. I'm blessed by these people that I'm talking about. Yesterday, I had a friend who is one of the great connectors in Mexico, and he had introduced me to a lot of the leaders in Mexico when I was there about a decade ago, and the First Lady of Mexico, et cetera, et cetera. Well, he was down with a friend of mine in North Carolina, and they were doing, and this is an act of kindness that now is happening without any action from me on a regular basis, because I've been working these principles years and years and years ago. So I tell you today, who's on your mind? Make a phone call. Who are you thinking about? make a phone call, and then begin to purposely really pay attention. Ask them the question, how are you? Wait for the answer. And then listen for a way that you can be a blessing. And the last point I want to make is when you do this, a lot of times you're going to start to be able to connect the dots, because you may call 2 or 3 people during that week. And what you realize is that this person will reveal to you a need that they have, right? And then another conversation will reveal to you a resource that they have, and you'll be able to connect the need to that resource because you are purposely practicing the principles of blessed to be a blessing. And then when you reach out to that person who is the resource, they don't feel like you're begging for something or asking for something out of line, because you called them to bless them. You didn't call them for the resource, but you learned about the resource. Maybe they have an apartment that they're looking to rent, and this person needs an apartment. Maybe they have a job that they're looking to fill, and this person needs that job. The more you proactively think about being a blessing when you're not thinking about trying to get yourself blessed, you're going to begin to become a connector. You're going to become a true resource and reservoir of love. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Morning Motivations. My name's Dan Stratton. If you have a question, if you have a comment, please let us know. We want to serve you as best we can here at Morning Motivations. And when you think of it, think of us. Pray for us. I'm going into the prisons of Parchment this month, and I'm going to Cuba next month. And it's all part of what I'm teaching right now, blessed to be a blessing. I can go. I've been asked to go, but it's because I've been practicing these principles. I can't go alone. I can't do these things on my own. I have people who help me. I can't do these things on my own. But because of these principles, I'm able to do these things. And it really is exciting. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Thursday, and I hope you share this with your friends.